I'm Camden Walker for Capital Weather Gang, and I have an honored guest with me today.
Louis Uccellini, Director of the National Weather Service.
We are together celebrating 150 years of the National Weather Service, where we want to talk about the past, its histories of weather and communication, observations and communication, present challenges, and future vision. So please bring your Q&A over the next 15 or 20 minutes. We've got lots to talk about. We'll try and touch on the weather for the week ahead, of course, as well. A little bit nippy here today, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's still winter.
Yeah, still winter.
And the sun's setting. So.
And the sun is setting.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining everyone for the Sunset Sunday Live with Capital Weather Gang 46.8. Anytime you need us, we're at capitalweathergang.com. And anytime you need the National Weather Service, you can go to NWS.
Yeah, well, weather.gov.
Weather.gov.
Yeah, 24/7, 365.
I love it.
Yeah, yep.
And Capital Weather Gang wouldn't be anywhere without the National Weather Service. So let's say that first and foremost. Karen, thank you for joining. Peter, hello. Thanks so much for joining. I'm going to first show this great. We're celebrating the birthday of the National Weather Service today. Who is this with you, Dr. Uccellini?
Oh, that's Mary Erickson. She's the Deputy Director of the National Weather Service.
And look at this great tweet, everyone. Make sure you're following Dr. Uccellini. What is your Twitter handle?
Well, it's that's a good question. It's
at NWS Director.
Yep.
And I want you to follow him, please. In addition to us on Twitter at Capital Weather, 150 years ago today. So President Grant is who formed the National Weather Service.
Yeah. So we had there were people before the Civil War that were very interested in collecting data. Mainly for climate studies, but then as the telegraph expanded in the United States and we were able to move data in real time, there were people like Increase Lapham and then Cleveland Abbey that started, and others who started working with that data in real time. Increase Lapham from Wisconsin actually convinced Congressman Payne that it would be in the public interest to have this data available to alert people for these extreme events, and he was mostly worried about ships sailing across Lake Michigan,
exactly,
things like that. So
the data available for everyone.
The data available for everyone, and actually having it in real time, you could then track these squalls approaching the Great Lakes and put out forecasts and warnings. It was Congressman Payne who got to President Grant. They were, they worked together in the Civil War,
right?
In those major battles, and it actually got done pretty quickly once that connection was made. And here we are, February 9th, 1870 is when
unbelievable.
The first rendition of Weather Service was formed as a Signal Corps in the U.S. Army.
The Signal Corps, that's what it was called. Right.
So.
All right, Kenny, you're going to try and see the rocket lift off tonight, the Antares rocket. So that make sure you go to the latest on that on the blog. We've got also following NASA Wallops is another good thing. About 90 seconds after liftoff, by the way, is when it should be visible from Wallops Island here in the D.C. area. Make sure you have a clear sight line. Are you going to look for the rocket tonight?
Well, I live further north, and I will not have a clear view of
it. No problem. Yeah. Yep. We all have the little things we like to look for. Weather and atmosphere, right? Yep. Hi from Richmond, Claudia. Thanks for tuning in. Liz, hello. Go Noah, says Chris Jones. That's excellent. Hola, says Jason, and let us know if you have any questions on today, the birthday, 150 years of the National Weather Service. I'm with Dr. Uccellini. He is the director of the National Weather Service. And I guess let's go into how it's nippy now. Let's take a temperature check. What is that, 46 degrees?
Yep.
Do we want to disappoint the snow lovers really quick? What do we see?
This has not been a good winter for sustained snow in the Mid-Atlantic. And basically, like last year, we haven't been able to hold the cold air in.
Nope.
Either get it in really solid,
right,
or hold it in as these storms that you would want to develop to the south of you come in.
Yep.
So we relate that to I do and others to the North Atlantic Oscillation,
yep,
and a positive
NAO.
North NAO. And with that strong jet in the North Atlantic, it just basically draws the cold air out. So as the next systems come in, it warms up. So tomorrow, Tuesday, Thursday, next week, it just looks like the same.
A little bit of a roller coaster week ahead. We've got cold air that Dr. Uccellini was talking to me earlier. This might be the coldest of the season, but dry.
And then that's the Thursday night, Friday.
Yep.
And then it immediately starts getting moved out in advance of the next system coming in on Sunday, Monday of next week.
Snow lovers, sorry.
Yeah,
yes.
It's not a good
And
year
I feel responsible. I'm the one who downgraded our SPI on Capital Weather Gang. Our snow potential index is down to 0 out of 10 since Thursday night, Friday morning. And we don't have this back on the blog or on Twitter at Capital Weather until we see a chance in the next week or so in the region of an inch or so of accumulation. That's just not in the cards right now.
Well, not in the next 7, 8, 9 days.
Nope.
Yeah.
Sorry, snow lover. Sorry. All right, cleaning up my yard, down trees and debris from the Boyd's tornado. It went right through my yard, Ken. Yes, indeed. How many did we have in the area? 5?
Well, we're still in the assessment phase, but
Sure.
we have 5 confirmed. Boyd's. It's actually an interesting illustration of getting ready for Friday. The local forecast office actually staffed up Friday morning with an expectation there could be a chance of low top convection, bringing down strong winds. So that we're looking at a potential wind event. And as soon as they saw the signs on the NextRad radar, but also we have the terminal Doppler radars from the FAA. We started putting out the warnings, and the warning was put out. And we've gotten feedback from the Warrior K9 Connection unit in Boyd that they actually heard the warning on their WIA, on their phones, and they took cover.
Good.
And as they
That's great.
as they sheltered in place, they could hear the chaos outside their building. So
Wow.
the
Okay.
warnings got out. It's a very difficult forecast for that kind of convection
Exactly.
system. Low instability. Actually, there wasn't much of an instability to work with, but just enough with the dynamics that were available that we got the thunderstorms and actually got tornadoes. But once they started forming, we got those warnings out, and we're getting feedback that really made a difference for the folks in middle Montgomery County.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, Charlene, again, you're talking about the Wallops rocket tonight. It is coming, it looks like, at 7:30 now, so it must have gotten pushed later. It was originally going to happen right after sunset. Ken Clausen, thanks for tuning in. He got the warning and took cover, so that's great to see. Seth, thanks for tuning in very much. Melissa, sad to be snowless. Sorry about that. Oh, hey, Greg, you're watching from Phoenix, 70 degrees. I think we're jealous.
Well, he's the head of he's leading the Heritage project
Perfect.
for us.
And yes, we need to plug your website. I think I have one, cwg.news/NWS Heritage, but that takes you to the 150 page.
Right. So the 150 days before February 9th, we started this 150 to 150. Greg and his team came up with this idea to have an event or an item noted every day as we approached. So we've got so much input from people in the field and from people even outside of the Weather Service that we're going to continue doing that until we run out of things to say.
Perfect. And there's a great 2-page information PDF on, if you go directly to cwg.news/NWS Heritage, that takes you to the weather.gov site for the 150 years. We're celebrating the 150th birthday of the National Weather Service right now.
And that's more than 2/3 of the history of the country, and it's really a reflection. It's really a reflection of the fascination that this country has always had with weather, including its founding fathers. It's not an accident that once we were able to pull the technology together in the interest of the government together to actually create a public service out of these observations that were now available. It really took off, but it really was built on an interest in the weather in this country for obvious reasons, public safety, and
we're just
right
so
back
big.
to the founding fathers. So it was, and we were maybe not the first to actually do forecasts, but we actually sustained it. Other countries started and actually stopped making forecasts, right? So once we started, we just kept right on going.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Great. Lindsay says hello to both of us. Thanks for tuning in, Lindsay. Claudia has a great question. What technology is NOAA and NWS working on for the future? Where do you want to be in 150 more years?
Well, that's but that's probably the hardest question to ask because we're always, we see something develop and we're always surprised by how fast it takes off. Right now, I would say that we're living a revolution in weather observations using more remotely sensed data than ever before.
Indeed.
Whether it's from space looking down or from the ground looking up. So, clearly building on that, in the near future, we still got a long way to go in using that data, but also in a way to communicate the information and data. I think this is something that we even saw on the last Friday's severe weather, without the phones that we're using now, without these wireless emergency alert systems.
And that's just the last few years.
There were people who would not have gotten warnings right to where they were, and we're hearing stories back from that case that that warning that they got over there their phone was the first thing that
Yes.
alerted them that something was coming right at them. So it's
Indeed.
it's really so. Observations, the modeling, Earth system science rather than just the atmosphere that's coming at us, and sun to the sea. We have models now that deal with space weather, and models we're pulling all this in together from an Earth system science perspective. So there's a lot of things yet to do, and we like to think we get them done in next year or the year after, whatever. But they usually take decades
Exactly.
to make work
Exactly.
in real. This is the other part of it. We make all of this work in real time. All the data that comes in,
Right.
running the models, get the models out, all the data to the forecast offices, it's all happening in real time. So the reliability of these systems is something that's really important as well.
And do you consider yourself like a utility, like the weather utility, the wires and brains behind everything, Earth systems now?
Well, we provide a foundation for the weather,
word, that's
the
good.
weather enterprise, and now growing water and climate enterprise. We provide a foundational data set for people to work off of.
Brilliant.
But clearly there's a market for products and services that we can't serve as a weather service, mainly because we just don't have the resources to do it. So this
Right.
is where, the larger enterprise comes in and really makes the products useful for their customers, for
Exactly.
industry, for energy, for the transportation industry, for
Yep.
the whole host of things that we've come to rely on. So it's
It's true.
really a great partnership and interaction.
And pretty crucial. I
Yes.
mean, yes.
Yes.
All right, so I'm getting carried away. I'm Cam Walker for Capital Weather Gang, and I'm really enjoying talking with the Director of the National Weather Service, Dr. Uchlini. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Should we take a temperature check? Just to make sure we're validating how nippy we feel here. 46.5.
We should tell them where we are.
I know, at
too.
the Weather Prediction Center, right? The Climate Prediction Center,
Yeah.
CPC.
Yep. So we're here at the NOAA Center for Weather and Climate Prediction. It is 5 Weather Service National Centers here. NESDIS is here.
Yep.
OAR's Air Resource Laboratories here. It's been a great asset for us in terms of not only the research and the operations, but the research to operations that goes on here. So
R2O.
really pleased to
Thank you.
be here with you.
Thank you
Yep.
so much.
Yep.
All right, Aaron, what day was National Weather Forecasters Day? That was earlier this week, I believe. Was that right? Was it Tuesday? It's so funny, it went fast.
For me, every day
Every
is a
day.
National Forecasters Day.
Perfect.
So
All right,
we
Antares lunch.
we celebrate it every day.
Yes, indeed. And we're here right now with Dr. Uchinelli, celebrating 150 years. Look at that cake. They celebrated this week 150th birthday of the National Weather Service. Make sure you follow him at NWS Director, and also follow NWS, National Weather Service, at NWS. We are celebrating past, present, and future vision of the National Weather Service here at the CPC. And yes, we have a rocket who is launching soon from Wallops Island, taking some of the attention away from us. But yep, after 90 seconds, you should be able to see that in about 2 minutes time now. So make sure you follow NASA as well on that. And let's see, Drew asks, is there severe weather possible on Thursday in our region? I mean, slimly possible, but it's too far out, right? That's the quick answer.
Well, it's again in this situation the dynamics are there. The dynamics have been really intense. It's how fast the cold air is going to be moving out.
Right.
And then, and then the next system, which could be even more dynamic, will have more cold air with it. But it looks like even that is going to get moved out before the precip gets in. So
On that note, Drew, let's do a quick look at the work week forecast. We've got fronts coming in from the west on Monday, slowly but surely. And then our high temperature tomorrow around, let's say, near 50 to mid 50s in the DC area. With winds and some breezes tomorrow means you want a couple layers. So wind chills maybe about 3 to 5 degrees colder than the air temperatures, with gusts near 20 miles per hour. And here's the fronts, the positioning, cold front coming in on Tuesday, slowly but surely. And we're just not sure at the timing exactly, but I think it should be maybe a drier afternoon Tuesday. We've got a couple pulses of rain moving in this week. Monday night through maybe early Wednesday, and then another one coming in for Thursday, but maybe even Thursday afternoon we clear out. It's uncertainty there, as you'll see, based on the primary model here of 67 degrees output there, the temperature of 67 degrees, but look at the background coloring there. There are multiple scenarios that are possible in that overall modeling system, so we're just not sure of the timing of the cold front and precipitation and even the temperatures. But what does become a little more confident, look at the wind coming in Thursday and Friday, colder for the weekend, a little bit sunnier. maybe the coldest air of the region.
Yeah,
of
well,
the
Friday,
season.
Thursday night into Friday looks like that's a pretty impressive cold shot coming in. But,
And then snow lovers, so sorry. Do we want to show them the look ahead?
well, this is the look ahead, but that might be trending colder though. Just
Right.
watching the way these week 2 to week 3 time frame.
Above average temperatures are expected right now for next work week. That's in the 8 to 14 day time frame.
Yep.
And if you're curious what our average temperature is this time of year, it's 46, and maybe by next week, I think 47 with a low of 31 degrees at DCA Airport, National Airport. And then precipitation, again, likely rain more than snow, above average probabilities for our area and much of the country for the 8 to 14 day period. All right, so let's see if we have any final questions before we go. I know we've been on the air for a bit here. February 5th is the day. We appreciate all meteorologists. Thanks, Lindsay, and celebrate National Weather Forecasters Day. Except, Dr. Ugolini, you're right. Every day.
Every day for the director of the National Weather Service is National Forecasters Day.
Exactly right. Exactly right. All right. When is it going to rain again, William? We think some showers could even move in here to the region tonight. As early as tonight, low chance, but growing rain chances into tomorrow and the week ahead. We've got a couple pulses of rain moving through. Look at those temperatures, up and down, a little bit of a roller coaster. But Friday into Saturday should clear out and be sunny again. All right, happy birthday to NWS, says Lindsay. Thank you so much. And belated Weather Forecasters Day, that's fine. Steve, Zubrick, thanks for tuning in. Looking good. And we don't want to talk much about things with, I guess, the NWS vision ahead is what we could talk about. Do you have the necessary resources?
The vision ahead is, we've revolutionized the forecast process the last half of this 150 years. The last 70 years, the introduction of satellites, radars, numerical models, running on supercomputers. Clearly, the forecast out to 5, 6, 7 days is just really remarkable for extreme events. What we found is you have to connect those forecasts to decision makers.
Yes.
And we are now working that. We've been working that for the last 5, 6, 7 years at the federal, state, local, tribal nations, Native Americans.
Right.
And it's looks like it's working, and a lot more to do. But the idea is that for people to be ready and responsive, we have to work with them, practice with the emergency management and public safety officials.
Right. Exactly.
Weave the decision-making process with the entire enterprise because people want consistency. And that's the way people get ready, for these big extreme events. So it's really important that we continue working this, and we're moving forward. We just published a paper in the Bulletin of the American Meteorological Society. We've got some initial results which look positive, but a lot more work to be done.
Thank you so much. And for more on Dr. Ugolini, we actually did an interview with him back in November you wrote the book on snowstorms. So go to cwg.news/snow expert to read more about his interview and great snow expertise. You can also touch on our interview here anywhere on your screen like that, and all the links that we've talked about have popped up below there on your mobile device once you touch on our faces. And thank you so much.
So with the book, the lead author is Paul Cosin.
Right.
My colleague.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Cosin and Ugolini.
Yep.
And it's Northeast Snowstorms. It's we'd like to think we'll find a time to do Volume 3.
Good.
But
please.
No, that was one of our great joys in getting that book out.
That's awesome. Yeah. And again, we're here with Dr. Ugolini. Last few seconds you have to ask questions of us really quick. I'm Ken Walk for Capital Weather Gang, joined by Dr. Ugolini, and we're outside your building.
Yeah, this is a building that when I was the head of NCEP spent it actually took 13 years.
Goodness.
From beginning to end.
Yep.
To get it approved, get the design concept, get the land, the site. But we wanted to be near a research institute. We're at the in the science park area of the University of Maryland, and we're pretty close to NASA Goddard Space Flight Center.
Yes.
So we've got an academic environment and the research that NASA works on that's definitely relevant to what we do. So it's really been a great boon for us in many ways. And love the way it turned out. So,
this is a great spot.
Yeah.
Even though it's chilly right now, yes, 45 degrees, 46 degrees here, so it's just beyond sunset. Winter has been too warm, says Susan. Well, it's getting chillier, and again, another cold shot coming this weekend. Sandy, thanks for tuning in. You're most welcome. She says thank you to you as well. And Karen, most welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you tuning in, everyone. It has been a lovely time with Dr. Uccellini. Look at that birthday cake, 150 years. Can you believe that? Yeah. So I want to, that's great. I would love to slice up a cake that has 150 on it. And Chris saw the launch of the Antares rocket. Awesome. And Chris is loving all the weather products. That's fantastic. And again, follow NWS Director on Twitter to follow Dr. Uccellini. And any of his expertise is also available on cwg.news/snowexpert. He's the guy who co-wrote the book on Northeast snowstorms. And we, sorry again in conclusion, could not find them snow, could we?
Nope. And I'm just as disappointed as all the snow enthusiasts out there. I got interested in meteorology through my love of snow.
Yes.
And the disappointments that came with the rain events when snow was predicted.
And wintry
that
mix.
kind of thing.
Gross.
So I can feel their pain. Let's just put it that way.
We are with you. We are with you.
Yeah.
Have a great night, everyone. A good work week ahead. You can send in your questions after we're on the air, and I'll send them back and forth as needed to get your questions answered in case we missed any as well. And for the latest forecast on the up and down week ahead that's somewhat damp, go to capitalweathergang.com. And anytime you need National Weather Service and celebrate with them their 150th anniversary, go to weather.gov.
Right.
Have a great week. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Right.
Take care, everyone. Bye for now.